White people, white people, white people. How many times did I call you people? How many times did I call you? Write it in the comment section and come and sit down here and listen to what your mate is saying. I am not the one that said it. It's your mate that is dropping a chill bone truth. Facts, raw facts about you. I didn't say it. It's your fellow palm-colored people. So do not come for me. Black Americans. Black Americans, how many times have I called you? Come and sit down right now and hear what these people have to say about you. You think you are not worth it? You think you are bad? You think you are not doing enough? You think you are frustrated? Come and sit down. Grab a seat. Take a popcorn. Carry Coke. Enjoy, and let's dive right into this video. Hi guys, my name is Sonia. If this is the first time you're tuning in, subscribe, like this video, drop me your comments, and lastly, do not forget to share. Into this video, these white men are coming out to drop some chill bone truth and fact that, trust me, when you watch this video from beginning to the end, you are going to understand exactly what they are saying. And let me know your take in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Credit belongs to original creators of every clips we are going to be stitching in today's episode. And guys, with that being said, let's dive right into it. We do not support fights. We know they fight, right? Let's dive into the video.
White people. If crime statistics really mattered to us, we would be talking about white men every damn day. We as white people love to throw around statistics when it comes to the black community. We love to misconstrue data about poverty rates, crime rates, single parent households. Here's the thing. If you really want to talk about problematic behavior in terms of statistics, we need to talk about white men. Most mass shootings in America? White men. School shootings? White men. Intimate partner violence, typically known as domestic violence? White men. Police brutality and systemic violence? White men. Online harassment and extremism? White men. Domestic terrorism? White men. Serial killers? White men. The demographic making up the vast majority of CEOs, judges, senators, and police chiefs who refuse to hold white men responsible? White men. And yet us white men are really talked about as being a problem. Few white people are asking what's wrong with white men, what's wrong with the culture. Few white men are demanding that we be fixed. And why? Because we as white men humanize and individualize white violent offenders. And it's time to flip the script. To shame and blame, because I know white males are incredibly fragile when it comes to that, but instead to name what's really going on and who continues to be protected and not held accountable because of selective storytelling. I hope this helps.
For those of you that are still wondering what it is they want, the white supremacist MAGA haters, that's what they want. They want white America. And they would rather burn the country to the ground than see a black woman sit in the White House. It's that simple. It has nothing to do with taxes or tariffs or making your life better or giving people a better wage. None of it matters. If a white man ran, that person would have won. And they couldn't stomach a black man sitting in the White House. It triggered them. So they went back to the plantation owner. And I'm going to say this over and over again until everybody hears me as loud as you can hear me. For all of you podcasts that are out there, all of you pros getting millions of views talking about, oh, let me interview celebrities and famous people and news reporters and talk about the tax plan. You're missing the whole goddamn point. It doesn't matter if the red or the blue team are sitting in the White House. Talk about racism, because that's what this is. Make America white again. They're building concentration camps in Florida. They're racially profiling people. People that serve this country because they look like they were non-white. So they must be a victim. And isn't that what we've done since the history of this country? Oh, look, there's a black person at night. They must be committing a crime. Let me turn on my police lights to pull him over. Woo-hoo! Well, I guess he's okay, but he looks suspicious because, he wasn't white, so he must have been doing something wrong. DEI, CRT, trans people, gay people, taking out the bust of Martin Luther King, taking away the history of Rosa Parks and Jackie Robinson, the Tuskegee Airmen. Yeah, totally not racist. Did it rent to black people. Elon Musk did the salute. questioning the birth of Barack Obama, dinner with white nationalists, very fine people on both sides, the Central Park Five. Yeah, totally not a racist. But can we just agree to disagree? No, we can't. Because you are fine with all of that immorality. And the time where you get to be a racist and just agree to disagree is gone. And this moment in our country should have happened a damn long time ago. Hundreds of years ago, when the racist founding fathers that owned black people like livestock, when we should have stood up then and said that's unacceptable. Because all of you white supremacist MAGA red hatters, this is a Christian nation win. When black people were worth 3/5 of a person? Jim Crow? Segregation? Oh, you mean the same Christian nation where black people couldn't praise Jesus in the same church as white people? Wow, what a great Christian nation this has been. When women don't have the right and they go into sepsis, look what happened to Adriana Smith and Amber Thurman. Wow, praise Jesus, so pro-life. And your plantation owner literally pardoned 1,500 white people, U.S. citizens, that attacked cops that have long-term disabilities, and Officer Sitnick is no longer here. Wow, what a Christian nation! But who are you to judge? By your fruits shall you be judged. You voted for a racist, you are one. You are what you eat, in the words of our teachers. You voted for it. You liked it. And you hoard yourself out for capitalism as well. You think there was a coincidence that we haven't had a woman in 249 years? You always say you want the best candidate, and it's always a man. I wonder. Hillary Clinton wasn't a felon. Insurrection. Tax fraud, didn't cheat, Couldn't vote for her, right? Couldn't vote for the black woman either. And even in the primaries in 24, you didn't want the woman in the Republican primaries. Hell, I didn't agree with her, but at least she understood foreign policy, but you just couldn't vote for the woman, right? Until we address the MAGA white supremacy in this country, because that's what it is. This is their Hail Mary. This is their moment to put everything out there. Everything else is a distraction. All the other crap going on. It's gaslighting. They're putting people in cages in Florida. You're okay with that? I'm not. And I'm going to say it one last time. You can use your white privilege to sit in your comfy, air-conditioned home and give thoughts and prayers to people, or you can do what I'm doing right now and get out there and speak about it. Call it out. Talk to your family members. Talk to the ones that wear the red hats. Make them feel uncomfortable. Hey, you know what? You took away my rights as a woman. I don't want you over here for Thanksgiving dinner. Think about that. Yeah, I know it's harsh. But that family member, that friend that allegedly loves you, is telling you what you can do with your body. That's not love, that's control. And I've had enough of people controlling other people. Because that's all we've done since the inception of this country is control people. Black people, Native Americans, women, Asians, Hispanics, immigrants, Muslims. That's all this country has done is demonize anybody that's not a straight white man. But if you sexually abuse women, praise Jesus, you get to be president. Because, hey, nobody's perfect, right? Call it out, people. That's the root of where we are. White supremacy.
I don't know about you, but I'm tired of what's happening right now. And I'm tired of politicians and fancy shoots that are getting paid $165,000 to $180,000 a year of our money that we bust our ass for, telling us what they're going to do with it. Have they helped raise minimum wage? Have they helped give us a living wage? Have they helped with the cost of housing? 14 million children go to school hungry every day. What have they done for them? Over 40,000 people passed away from gun violence. What have you done about that? Women's rights. Texas has a 50% increased sepsis rate. Look what happened to Adriana Smith, the Gilead. You're not pro-life, you're forced birth. We live in a social contract. We agree to pay our taxes, follow the laws, follow the Constitution, listen to cops, go to the, follow the speed limits, and so on and so forth. The government has broken their part of this social contract. They're supposed to use our taxes to make our lives better, and they're not. The president is ignoring the Constitution. He is at some point going to try to undo birthright citizenship, was a constitutional right. He's taken away due process from people. He's talking about doing away with habeas corpus. He's putting us into a trade war, which is going to decimate the U.S. economy. He's going after private citizens with executive orders. And the Congress, which is supposed to be the checks and balances, is nowhere to be found. You have the Republicans, which is Make America White Again, the modern day Confederacy. That party couldn't stomach the black man sitting in the White House with President Obama. So they did what they always do. They got triggered and they went back to the plantation owner, the most unqualified, uneducated, idiotic white man that's picking their pocket over the most qualified black woman. Because for them, a black woman was just too far. That's DEI. That's CRT. It's racism. That's what it is. Mixed in with misogyny. Hard stop. So stop the crap about tariffs and I wanted more gas, because now gas is going up. Now he's playing AD chess. It is white supremacy. Period. That's it. The Democrats don't have a backbone for the majority of them. 50 of them voted for Marco Rubio, that traitor that sided with Vladimir Putin. 10 of them voted for the CR. 10 of them voted to censor Al Green. Cory Booker stands up for 26 hours. Yay, Cory Booker. Then what does he do? Votes for Charles Kushner, a man guilty of tax fraud and witness tampering, because, way to go, Cory Booker. Take that money from Charles Kushner. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. And then 14 Democrats voted for the crypto bill. And then 127 of you didn't vote for the impeachment. And then you show up on CNN and MSNBC and your favorite left-wing radio show and you go, we have to fight this. We have to do everything we can. Are you going to vote for impeachment? No, I can't do that. It's not politically advantageous for me. It's not going to work, so I'm not going to do anything. And people in wheelchairs got zip tied in the Capitol because they did more to stop fascism than you did. Both parties suck. So we have a choice, people. If the people that aren't elected to do their jobs aren't going to fix this system, then I'm going to propose that we don't participate in the system anymore. We go on a general strike. If we have 3.5% of this population that stops working, stops paying federal taxes, and protests every day until this government works for us, we can change this country. But we're going to have to be uncomfortable. We're going to get bumps and bruises and broken bones. That's unavoidable. And for the people that say I can't afford it, I've been there. I've had to sell my comic book collection to buy gas. I sold my PlayStation to pay my rent. I didn't even have a bike and I walked to work 3.5 miles each way. I've been there. I have lived it. But the reason that you're there is the reason that we have to do this. Nobody should be living paycheck to paycheck when we have a $4 trillion budget and we call ourselves the greatest country in the world. We're not the greatest country in North America, people. I would say Canada, Mexico, and then us. That's where we are. We're a third world country right now. And for all of you little MAGA that get your panties in a twat, oh, how dare you? This country has never been great for everybody. It was designed by racist founding fathers that own black people, designed to benefit 21-year-old landowning white men in every demographic, women, minorities, black people, immigrants, everybody that doesn't fit into your bigoted worldview of white Christian nationalism has been treated less than. Even now, we're demonizing immigrants. Oh, Paul, that's not it. I want them here legally. You voted for a white man who's a convicted felon, who abuses women, who's told over 30,000 lies, who questioned the birth of our first black president, has dinner with Nick Fuentes, a white nationalist, didn't rent to black people, the Central Park Five, but somehow he's a white man and that's okay. But the brown people that have been here for 30 years that have never committed a crime, somehow they get zip tied if you're pregnant and thrown into a jail. Yeah, you're racist. You are. I voted for that, but you are. You voted for it. You're right. You are. And those people, they're not going to move because it's who they've always been. And I've had enough of it. And I think a lot of us have had enough of that and the two-party system. If you're ready to make a change, sign the general strike petition. We just hit 1,400 people. I understand it's not millions and millions, but every movement needs to start somewhere. So here I am. In my bio is a link, or you can go to directly at 2025strike.com. Sign it, share it. That's the way to do it. On July 9th, I'm interviewing Eric Swalwell to see if he will support the general strike. I'm going to try to do it live on my TikTok channel and or YouTube. If not, it will be posted. We're going to have to save ourselves. Nobody's coming to save us here. The political system itself is broken. I understand people are happy that this guy won a mayor's race in New York. Good for him. Congratulations. The system is broken. Until we reverse Citizens United, we take out APAC money, until congressmen have to take away their stocks, until we implement gun reform, until we give people a living wage. It's been $7.25 since 2009. What's the point of doing this over and over again? With politicians asking for money? You know what? I know you're living paycheck to paycheck, but please give me $10. I know you only make $7.25 an hour, or if you're a tipped worker, $2.13. But can you find it hard to give me $10 because I really need it so I can get elected and don't do a damn thing to make your life better? Can you do that, please? No, that time's over. Stop donating, people. You want to do something else? change your party affiliation to independent. I left both parties. You want to speak? Speak with your money. Speak with your registration party. And then you go on a general strike. And we shut the country down until actual change happens. We're going to have to say this from ourselves. This is a pivotal moment. 2025strike.com. You call it a revolution. I'm fine with that. I have no problem with that. This system is not working for the benefit of the people of this country. It is working for the very rich. And we're also fighting against the MAGA white supremacists. And that needs to stop. It takes one of us at a time. We are each a grain of sand, but if you get enough grains of sand, you can have a beach. You get even more, and you can have an island. Sign the petition.
White people are never, ever, ever going to give up white supremacy willingly. And that's because of the consequences that it would cause if they gave it up. And I'm not talking about mean words related to race. I'm not talking about hurt feelings. I'm talking about systemic white supremacy. White supremacy is all about control of resources. And these resources could be labor, they could be territory, they could be the resources on that territory, like oil or cobalt. It's also about power, legislative power, economic power, cultural power, or influence. And all these different facets of white supremacy have worked together for hundreds of years to put white people in the place they are now. White people are 14 or 15% of the world population. They control 60% of the wealth. In the United States, white people are 60% of the population and control 84.5% of the wealth. Even if you cut out the top 1%, the median household income for white families is $205,000 a year. For black people, it's $44,000 a year. Black people in the United States are about 16% of the population. In 1865, they held 0.5% of the wealth. In 2023, they held 4.2% of the wealth. Africa is 17% of the world's population, but holds less than 2% of global wealth. And I'm bringing up Africa because white supremacy is a global system. And to end global white supremacy, it's necessary to remove the control that white people have over territory that they've taken through white supremacy. A lot of people will conflate race with class, but it's not the same thing at all. In fact, for the territories that are under European occupation, the problem is a race issue, not a class issue primarily. From the perspective of the invaded, when Europeans invaded territory, is it only the rich Europeans that are the problem? No, it's the poor Europeans as well. I feel like the reason why people say no war but class war is because the other types of oppression are systems that benefit them. Class is the way that white people are oppressed as a race. Racism is the way that benefits white people as a race. So it makes sense to me that they want to get rid of class instead of talking about race, or they think that getting rid of class will also get rid of race. If we say we want to end white supremacy, but white people will still have the things that they got through white supremacy, then what has really changed? When you stop a thief that is stealing from you, do you let the thief keep what he stole? Of course not. So let's talk about what would happen if the United States redistributed funds equally among the people in the United States, in a vacuum. White median household income, $205,000. Black median household income, $44,000. If you redistribute the wealth, these people come down. The average is like $128,000. That would be a huge jump up for black people, but it would be a huge drop for white people. Then you have to consider how the United States gets that wealth in the first place. The United States is 4% of the population, holds 35% of the wealth. So the wealth that the United States has is based on stealing from other people. If you globally redistribute the wealth that the United States has 4% of the wealth. That's a drop of 30%. What would the United States look like then? If you don't want that to happen, then you have to allow the United States to keep doing the evil things that it does all around the world to maintain that percentage of wealth. It's also the same problem as earlier. If the white people took this land, but they get to retain it after white supremacy ends, then how is white supremacy really over? It's not. Also, if we say we want to end white supremacy, but after white supremacy ends, non-white people are still under the control of white people, either legislatively or economically or culturally, then white supremacy hasn't really ended. Now globally, Europeans are 16% of the population and hold 60% of the wealth. And we all know that they haven't got that amount of wealth by being nice to anybody else. They've stolen it. They've murdered hundreds of millions of people to get that. Through white supremacy, Europeans have direct territorial control. They have neo-colonial control over a number of African states. And through economic warfare or subterfuge, some Europeans control resources and territory outside of Europe, like the Swiss with their company Glencore, which controls 70% of the DRC's cobalt, or the French with their company Total Energies that dominates West African oil. Not to mention the Canadians, who are famous in non-Western media for human rights abuses related to mining camps. So what would happen if these Europeans, who have been pillaging the world for hundreds of years, lose control of the things that they've taken and lose the ability to profit off of the evil that they've done? Western Europe would turn into a cultural backwater. It wouldn't be anything. The basis of its wealth is the exploitation of non-European people. And if you remove that exploitation, there's nothing left. Now, some white people might say to me, well, why can't we all just work together? Why can't we have a global system where we all work together for the benefit of humanity? And that sounds reasonable. But I just don't see the incentive for the global majority to work together with the Europeans who have been oppressing them and contributing labor to the Europeans any longer. Like, how much more labor, how many more resources do you think the Europeans deserve after what they've done and are doing? If you were a slave and you just got freedom, would you work together with the slave master to make sure that he had a better quality of life? Of course not. If you've been exploited by billionaires and you win the class struggle, are you interested in making sure that the ex-billionaire has a fine standard of living? Of course not. The Europeans have worked together against what is good for the majority of humanity for hundreds of years. Therefore, what is bad for Europeans is good for the majority of humanity. Kwame Ture said something similar. He said, what is good for the master is bad for the slave, and what is bad for the master is good for the slave. It's the same thing here. And this is why Europeans will never give up white supremacy. It's the same reason the South would not get rid of slavery, because their economy and their way of life is completely dependent upon white supremacy. It's the basis of their culture. It's the unifying force for Europeans. Their economic system is based on it. Their cultures are based on it. Their religions are based on it. From the perspective of the white race, maintaining white supremacy is a matter of survival for them. And so the majority of the world has to stop acting like they're ever going to give it up. The truth is that it has to be combated. It has to be fought. The power has to be taken. And only through taking the power are things going to get better for humanity.
Pan-African lifestyle.
Hello, pals. We appreciate your trust and interest in exploring opportunities on the African continent. To begin your journey, we recommend starting with Africa 101, our foundational resource that covers the continent's history, key industries, and strategic outlook. Ideal for anyone looking to travel, invest, or relocate with purpose. Once reviewed, the next step is to identify your top 3 countries of interest. While we specialize in Namibia, Kenya, Tanzania, South Africa, Ghana, and Botswana, we can also connect you with vetted experts across the continent. To move forward with consultation, simply complete our concierge services form and process the admin fee. Once received, our team will review your submission and match you with aligned opportunities and trusted professionals on the continent. For more details, email info@panafricanlifestyle.com or visit panafricanlifestyle.com.
Talk about what is important. Talk about what we know it is. It has always been race. It has always. It will continue to be until these people decide that this particular thing, we are going to bring it down. Like I said from the beginning of the video, I'm not the one that said this. They are the one using their own mouth to confess their own sin. Like, count how many things that will happen that will not be from the right. But at the end of the day, it saddens me that the right will now still be looking for the left to blame. Just like as one of our so-called governors said, I was praying for 33 hours. I was praying and hoping it will not come from us. I will never forget that statement. I will never. I'm not a Black American person. I'm an African woman. But I'm so much interested in politics that when I hear that particular thing, it sticks to my brain. Like sometimes if I remembered it, what has really eaten into the system, as far as I'm concerned, with these palm-colored people is race, the fear of superiority. They can be above us. They can be equal with us. We have to always be ahead. We have to always be in charge. We have to always be the one that is doing the most wealthiest, doing well in the community. These are men coming out to drop some chilly bone truths. These are people of the palm-colored people. They were not the Black people that were just saying it. In a lot of times as well, ChatGPT have been able to review a lot of things. But just because it didn't fit so many people's narrative, it's looking more like even when ChatGPT is actually saying the fact, people are coming out to also air out the fact, but some people will also be there and be like, what is it even saying? Is he really sure that this thing is saying is actually the right thing? You're an adult. You know what is right and you know what is wrong. If not until this thing called race is being taken down from a lot of these palm-colored people's hearts, mind, eyes, a lot of things will continue to still go wrong. But the question is, would they even allow people to help them? Would they even accept that this thing they are doing is even wrong? Would they even accept that this thing they are doing, they are not supposed to be doing it? That's the question. Because a lot of them is like when you're actually trying to root out where their problem is coming from, they're trying to look for another way to create more problems. That's bad. That's bad. But I pray everything is able to work out quick, because at the end of the day, one thing I know for sure is that the people that look like me are definitely going to come out strong. The people that look like me are definitely going to be successful. The people that look like me are definitely going to make their names heard. That is one thing for sure that I know. It's just a matter of time, but it will come to pass. Because yes, the people that look like me are blessed. Because yes, the people that look like me are God's chosen people. They are God's own people. So no matter how hard you try to defend it, to make it look like the system is favorable to every single person, God will keep vindicating his own. That is one thing I know for sure. No matter what I face, no matter what I see, no matter what comes my way, one thing I know that is definite in my heart is that my tomorrow must be greater than today. And that is the prayers I keep having for my people. Let me know what you think in the comment section as well. I just want to hear your opinion. Remember, like I said, we do not support any form of violence here. We don't fight here. This is just for educational purposes, and credit belongs to original creators of every clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. And yes, guys, with no further ado, I do add locally in my videos. I'm going to be saying bye, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye, guys. I love you. Mwah.